All right. Hi. About 2 years ago, my cousin gave me a book on how to draw fantasy characters, and I am a bit of a nerd, and I was super excited to do it, but life got in the way. I never had a chance to really try it, so come along with me as we try to draw a character. There's a bunch to choose from, and I haven't really flipped through it yet, but I think I'm gonna just open randomly and see what we can do. Who knows? It might be kind of fun. So, let's see. We are doing a dwarf. Let me get my camera centered, and we will go ahead and attempt to draw a dwarf. All right, I think I've got that kind of set up, so I'm going to show you roughly what this book looks like. So it gives you the basic outline, and you slowly build up on that. It also gives you little words like dwarves are strong, sturdy warriors that grew up in the mines. They are short and stout in stature, and they love precious metals and jewels. Let's give it a try. Again, I am not the best drawer, but I'm excited to try. So it looks like the first step they're telling us to do is do a head. It looks like the pelvis is about where the shoulders are, so we'll go here. Okay, there's our first attempt. Okay. Draw ovals and rectangles for the arms, legs, and torso. Erase all of the connecting lines from step 1. Okay. So it looks like we're going to kind of fill out I may have needed a better eraser. The traps. They're making this guy super jacked, man. And I know this isn't quite what I did on the upper body, but this is how the book is telling me to do the lower body. So I'm kind of following the book as best I can to figure out how best to set this this character up. This dwarf is looking a little bit like a bodybuilder at this point. I like it though. That's not a bad little dwarf. What do you think? I mean, kind of goofy. He looks strong. He looks powerful. Time to add muscles. Erase the unnecessary lines. Smooth out the shapes to make his body more realistic. Okay, so it wants me to erase some of these lines. This is the shoulder, so let's say I come up here. Yeah, sure. You know what? If you can't laugh at yourself, what's the What's the purpose of trying something new if you can't laugh at yourself? This does not look realistic to me. It says, make it look realistic. You know what, though? Again, if you can't laugh at yourself, who's going to laugh at you? The thing that always bothered me whenever I watch anime or like really good, well-drawn anatomical like bodies, why do the guys always like walk around flexing? I've spent a lot of time in the gym and I've seen how people like actually people with muscles walk and talk and stuff. Now, I don't have very many, but even when I was at my most fit, I would never walk around just constantly flexing. Like, it's almost like these guys are just looking for a fight all the time. They're walking around. They're walking around all jacked. Like, look at me. I am the biggest, baddest man in the whole downtown. And it's kind of funny the way that the human body is portrayed in fantasy. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Still not perfect. This is really hard for a perfectionist, I have to say. This is really hard for a self-described perfectionist, but you know what I wish I would have looked through to see? To see if they had a little hobbit. I've always related so much more to little hobbits. There's something about that archetype of the stay at home and kind of figure things out archetype. Anyway, this is after step 3. It's coming around. I feel like the proportions are a little bit more barbarian-like than dwarf-like, but it's fun. Step 4. Draw his hair, beard, and his eyes and nose. Give him some armor and have him holding the handle of his warhammer. Okay. So this is funny. It jumps from here to here. And it's like, oh yeah, just do this as if it's completely normal, completely natural. And you know what? I am not a strong drawer yet. I do appreciate, though, the way it goes. It looks like, looking at it, it looks like he's got a little bit of a part up here. We're going to flush out his head a little bit more, even though I just put it in the exact same spot, didn't I? Okay, so we've got it looks like he's got a center part, and he's got it kind of coming down here, and it runs into his beard. And then this one, center part this way, a couple flyaways, also comes down into his beard. And you know what? We're gonna put his beard about here. Erase his chin now. Okay. It's got his nose. Looks like it's about level with his shoulder, so we'll put his nose here. Oh, I just gave him like a World of Warcraft nose. That's all right though. Okay, I'm gonna let that sink in for a second. I don't hate it. Yeah, I don't hate it. Is it the best thing ever? No, but I don't hate it. Oh, all right. Let's add his armor. It looks like some pauldrons to kind of cover his shoulder, like a big jousting armor, big and strong. So we're gonna cover up that muscle right there with this pauldron. Look at that, big burly. Got to cover up the armor. This one. He's gonna have a pauldron on this side too. It's gonna be a little bit less pronounced, mostly because of the way his body is hanging. But he's got his pauldron over here. His muscle is still out here. Then a big fantasy style gauntlet, like a Gaston from from Beauty and the Beast. Big gauntlet. It's gonna come. We're gonna add. How many fingers do humans have again? Just half kidding. There's his gauntlet. This gauntlet over here. Coming out onto here with this thumb guard. 1, 2, 3, 4 with this thumb. I'm gonna put this a little bit more on the gauntlet side. I think he's coming along. That's not horrible. I'll leave it at that. That's not horrible. Okay. Now draw the details on his hair, face, and armor. Draw the hammerhead to complete this weapon. Okay. So on his non-swinging axe hand, he's got a big orcish, what you call it, with the outline coming up. Looks like the knuckles are coming in. That's kind of neat. I'm gonna follow the book. So they had the scale armor, putting him more. You know what? It's fantasy. Why stick with why stick with reality when you can do what you want, right? It's kind of neat. It almost looks like feathers while I'm putting this in. Like he's in World of Warcraft. I think they called them the Wild Hammers, the Griffin Riders, the ones that took to the skies and protected the dwarven kingdoms from invasion. I realize now as I'm doing this that I have kind of like made the scale armor a little wonky. Whoever did this man's armor, really, they were an apprentice. They didn't quite understand the needs of this gentleman. This pauldron, we'll do another little spike on this because he is wearing a pauldron over here. His armor coattails kind of come down like this, right? And offer minimum protection off the thighs. As I drew that, I realized that it wouldn't have the it wouldn't have the side. There we go. So we got the belt. I'm going to shade this in right now. There we go. And then we're going to add some more of these this scales. I started watching House of the Dragon the other day. Really good. I think I'm 3 episodes in. But I could imagine this being like dragon scale armor. And this is very expensive and powerful, right? Even though it was done by an apprentice, because he he did not do, because these chains, these links are not all that exciting. Okay, so we're gonna add some texture to his hair. We're gonna add his big bushy eyebrows, because every good dwarf needs a good big bushy eyebrow. One of my favorite fantasy tropes has been dwarfs, to be honest. They're always so exciting. Rich power. In the book it says a warhammer. I'm actually just going to give him a little axe head, because I feel like that's more what this gentleman would carry. We'll give it a nice with a spear end on it. There we go. That looks more like something he would carry, don't you think? He doesn't ride horses, so he's not going to need the spurs that like his human counterpart would need, right? Here is my completed drawing. I shall name him Gilbert. Yes. Gilbert Oakenshield of Clan Wildhammer. There you go. Gilbert Oakenshield of Clan Wildhammer. Okay, so I am a total perfectionist, and I have to admit, I do not love how it turned out. Now, what I am going to say is I love what I did. I took a blank sheet of paper and a guidebook, and I put pencil lead to paper, and I created something from this guidebook, right? And that's kind of neat. It's not something that has not been done before, but for me, during this process, as my drawing deviated from the guidebook, it was really kind of cool to give it its own story. Like, this guy's armor is a little crooked, right? And so this crookedness of this armor, an apprentice did it. We could pretend even that his nephew is an apprentice blacksmith and built this for him for a beautiful gift, right? And so we can create these little stories. And one thing that I noticed between the Lego build and between doing this drawing is when we're being creative, we can get into that part of our brain that doesn't need to be logical. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be anything. It's just like, this is the story. This is his story. This is Gilbert's story. He holds his axe instead of a warhammer. Why? I don't know. I'm not the author, but we can get into the creative part and figure out what his story is. And I think that is a beautiful thing. And I want to try this again. There's a whole bunch of characters in this book that my cousin got me. And you know what? We're going to give it a try. It might be a completely new and enjoyable hobby for us to try together. Or it could be the biggest failure in the world and I could end up hating drawing. Either way, this was fun. Have you ever done something that you weren't quite sure of, that you didn't know if it was going to be worthwhile and ended up kind of liking it? I mean, I still don't think I'm a great drawer. And Gilbert is testifies to that. But I did enjoy the process, and I am looking forward to drawing again with you here soon. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please remember to like and subscribe. Comment down below what's something that you have always told yourself that you're not good at. And maybe give it a try. Give it a second chance. We'll see you next time.